All right, Connie, I've got a question for you. I think a lot of people don't know about the panel, and although it's fairly recent, but yeah, do you want to just give a quick kind of description and how you have felt being on the women's panel for a second term now, and yeah, just giving insight into the tennis community and what we do and how it's been so far.
Yeah, so basically when I first saw the idea of it, I was really like, wow, that could be something very cool for the players to have, because until now we didn't have that voice. And so when I saw that and I saw you can get nominated, for me it was like more, I was thinking if I had the chance to talk to someone maybe early on in my career, like about inside of the tour and stuff, I would definitely think it's so helpful. And I think as a player who has played many years, I thought I would be really happy to try and get the insight of the player feedbacks and just being on the tour for many years, like seeing around and have the experience to maybe help and give some insight or feedbacks for also the ITF. And I think it's a very good thing that they created that, like for the players, because also for them, it helps, I think, to have the players' perspective, and not only
definitely, yeah,
like getting maybe emails daily. It's not the same, and I think, yeah, I'm just very glad that I have the chance to do that, and also have the chance to get players to ask me questions or anything, and just I gladly take anything, like whatever a players need to speak about or ask. I'm most happy to help, and
yeah,
and I think it's very good that there is man and woman, obviously, and I think it's also very important that there is this exchange between both, because obviously both tours are a bit different. They don't work the same, like with the ATP Challenger, and on the women's side is a bit different because we don't also have those tournaments covered by the WTA, for example, and yeah, I think it's just very interesting to kind of have talks and try to find ways on how maybe we can evolve things and help the development of like the sport as a whole. Yeah.
Yeah, I think for sure, and kind of similar to you, my brother and I for years would sit in our hotel room and say, we really feel like this in the system could be changed for the better, and just go through thoughts in our head and speak to supervisors and speak to like an ITF representative at a tournament when we got a chance. And yeah, when the opportunity came up, actually my brother wanted to do it, but with his ranking kind of position, he couldn't, and that's when I stepped in, and I think it's been great so far. I think the good thing too is that last year for men there wasn't anyone from Africa, and also I feel like I've brought in kind of a doubles perspective where I'm playing singles, but I'm focusing a lot on doubles, and I think it also gives people kind of confidence and freedom. If there's a person in Kenya, for instance, who's trying to play pro tennis and feels like he has questions or has anything, there's no insight, at least there's someone to kind of bridge that gap. And then also from the doubles side, I think a lot of people feel like doubles is overlooked and it's just seen as, okay, it's a part of the sport, but it's not as important. But whereas that's not really the case, there's, as you know, from being in the panel and the changes that have been made last year and this year with online entry, with point systems, there isn't a part of the sport that's overlooked. And I think it's just giving confidence to our players and our peers that, hey, okay, you're unhappy with this. And the reality is that there are a lot of players who feel like they are unhappy with certain things. I mean, obviously taking into account that you can't please everyone. You can't please the entire tennis community. Someone's going to feel like their position should be benefiting someone else another. But at least just bringing those ideas and like we do in a meeting and say, okay, compiling everything and saying, okay, this is what we feel should change, this is what should change. And if all of them can be changed, okay, amazing, great. But in reality, we don't see what's happening, behind closed doors, and there's got to be meetings and, with the financial side of things, etc. But from our side, yeah, exactly. And how much time it takes to pass those and get those passed by the board, etc. But I just think it's all positive from our side. And having the ATP and WTA on our calls are so important too. Because it's unique in tennis that there's not just one governing body for the sport. And I think the more that every kind of governing body can interact, the better it is for us, and we're the ones who actually benefit in the end.
And also for them, sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
No, continue. Yeah.
And also for them, like I think it's also good to have the voice of the ITF community, like ATP and WTA, because I think until now they also didn't have that. And so they maybe understand certain areas better also, and how the tour is in some levels, and I think this is also very important for them. It's basically for everybody.
For sure. Yeah, and they essentially, there's a lot of things that maybe the ITF won't, or for sure, because they're not playing. So there's certain things that they will not feel if they can't be there. And for instance, this year they've made an effort to go out to a lot of the tournaments and kind of see what it is like on the ground and get feedback from the players, etc. And I think it's all in the right direction. Like Mary and Mark on the group was saying that just in the time they've been chairing the panels, that there's been so many positive changes that have come out of it, and things that maybe could have been done before, could not have been done before, but weren't brought to light because there wasn't a panel. So I think for its function, it's serving the tennis community really well.
Yeah, and I think like when you look back on maybe 10 years ago, so many things have evolved, like much more, and also like you said, like also for doubles players with the advanced entry, for example. I think it also gives the players like a bit of fresh air as well, like in a way, like, I'm important as well. Like, because when you're playing only doubles, it's not easy to be also thinking, okay, I'm not really taken in consideration here, like, and I think having this panel is also for the players a bit more confidence that they can kind of reach out, and it's for them, like as a person as well. I think it helps.
Yeah, for sure.